Hi everyone, it's Morgyn from For the Love of Paper, and I'm here using my August Kitaholic Kits, and I am also using the sketch, which I'll show up on the screen there, and I'm scrapping 2 photos of Roman that we took at my mum's just last week. So I'm actually scrapping these photos really quickly. I've got a backlog that I haven't got to, but I'm keeping on top of the current ones at the moment. So I'm just going through and deciding which pattern paper I like, and I had kind of picked this one already, but then I was umming and ahhing about that triangle sheet as well, and I end up using that to mat my photo on or to put some bits behind it. And I really like these photos. They were taken at mum's under a tree, and he was having some naked time, which he absolutely loves, and he was giving us all sorts of smiles and giggles and things like that. So it was some special little moments, and my mum was there, and so was my grandma, so they always love to see him smiling and giggling and happy. And I did them in the pick frame app on my phone and then printed them on my selfie, so that's why I was tearing the little bits off the side and why there was the bit in the middle that I had to chop out. So first of all, I was going to put them side by side, like leave them as they were, but then I kind of wanted one to be a little higher than the other, so I cut them apart, and then just sort of when I stick them on, I leave them overlapping a little bit. I just like the look of that a little bit more than them straight next to each other. It just gives a little bit of interest to the photo, or to the page, I suppose. And then I just mount them onto some white cardstock before creating my layers behind it. And I can't believe he was 4 months old yesterday. From when I'm doing the voiceover, it was yesterday. And it's just gone by too fast. It's ridiculous. I wish these babies would just stay babies even longer. I know everyone has to grow up, but they're so cute when they're babies. And they don't move around anywhere, and they don't talk back to you, which my 5-year-old does a lot. So I'm making the most of every single moment, because there won't be any more babies after this one. He will be my last. And it took us so long to get him here that, yeah, there's not going to be any more, unfortunately. So I've got to make the most of every moment of him being a baby. And he is having a good old nap for me at the moment. I actually don't think he's feeling all that well. Sam was sick during the week, so I think Roman may have caught a little bit of that. So he's having a big nap. Anyway, that's enough of my rambling about what's happening in life at the moment. Back to the layout. So I end up using this piece with the triangles on it to put behind my photo. And then do I use the other side of that page? I don't actually think I end up using that. I think the pink was just too peachy more than pink, which didn't match the background. The background's quite, like, it's all really muted and pale and pastel-y in the background, but that little bit of paper is a bit too peachy and it doesn't quite fit. Mind you, this one's really quite a bright pink, so I don't know if it fits either, but I end up using that piece instead. And I'm just measuring to make sure it's the same size, and then pop that behind there. And of course, cutting out the middle, because I like to save all the bits. Always saving all the bits. That's why I have so many scraps, because I save all the bits. I actually like that there. Why didn't I leave that there? No, that doesn't stay there, I know that. I remember moving it. And what else am I doing? Oh, I'm still fluffing around with which pieces I want in my background. See, sometimes it just takes me so long to decide. Now it's time to move on. No, we're going back. No. See, look, I can't decide on anything. So I opened up the packet of ephemera that came with the kit. I can't remember what it was. Maybe Dear Lizzie? I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't remember what it was. and I liked this tag. It's got some butterflies on it, and I just trim it in half so I can put half on that side and then the other end over there. I mean, it's not meant to look like it's the one piece, but I like the similar color on both sides of the photo. And then that bird was just so super cute and sort of wrapped around the corner just nicely. I really wanted to use that heart piece, but it didn't fit. I'm pretty sure I used that label, yeah. And of course, look at that, trimming it down because I will use the other half of that. Probably never, but I say to myself, I can use that. I'm so terrible. I've really got to stop doing that. I know it's like, you know, not wasting anything, but the fact that they just sit in my stash and I never use them, I might as well have not bothered. I'm so terrible. So now I'm going through and finding the cutter parts that came with the kit, and I have obviously cut all of them already, and I use the heart. So this is where I was trying to bring in some more blue and green elements to the layout, because it was, I mean, it's a boy layout, and I've used pink on a boy layout. I've been doing that a lot lately in the last few layouts. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I did a layout of Roman that was pretty much all pink and a little bit of green, and I really like it. I like pink, and even though it's meant to be a girly color, I don't care. I can use it for boys, and I have so much pink. I don't know why. I hardly ever scrap with pink. I don't really scrap photos of girls all that often. Sorry, someone decided to wake up, so I had to pause my recording for a moment there. Yeah, so I was saying I don't really scrap girls that often, but I tend to have a lot of, or I seem to have a lot of pink papers and embellishments and flowers and whatnot. So I've just resigned to the fact that I am going to scrap boys with pink. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I really loved these little frames. I think they're Amy Tan, maybe? Could be. So I kind of use that as my title. So happy. And what else? Oh, that's right. I took a photo of my layout because I'm going to take it all apart so I can glue it all down again. So I needed to have a visual reminder of what it looks like when I liked it. And now to go back and stick it all together. So yeah, I edited out all the sticking together bits and pieces because you saw how the layout went together already. And now I'm just putting some double-sided tape down on the back of it so I can stick it to the page. And someone is also laying in my arms and chewing on their fingers, so if you hear any little gurgling baby noises, that's just Roman doing his thing, eating his fingers, which apparently are super tasty because they're always in his mouth. Yeah, so now to just put the final touches on the layout. I've got this little wood veneer arrow. I think that was from Corbett Creations. And then these little hearts. Do I end up trimming that down? I can't remember if I trim that down or not. I think I do. Maybe. I didn't make this that long. Yeah, I do. So I just try and trim the blue heart down to roughly the same shape as the pink one. And stick that on the layer. And I think I put the bird up on, yeah, I do. I put the bird on some foam adhesive, dimensional adhesive to give it a little bit of a lift. And I also, as you see there, I wrapped the tape back on itself a couple of times so that it was just a little bit higher, but not as high as the dimensional tape. And I used that entire packet up. Yay! And I was about to order some more from a friend who's a Stampin' Up! Demo, and then I was going through my stash and I realized I had 3 packets of dimensional adhesive in my stash. So I did not need to order any of that for quite a while. And now I'm just laying these little wood veneer pieces out at the top. Just a little cluster. And I think I end up swapping one of those out because these are all the wood veneers. And then I think I swap out one of the flowers for one of the resin pieces. There's some gold glittery resin pieces that came in I think it was in the embellishment kit. So I don't remember if I mentioned it at the beginning or not. This is the embellishment kit and the main kit from Kitaholic Kits. I will put a link to their store in the description box below. So I don't get the mixed media kit and I don't get the pocket pages kit. As much as I love them, one, I can't afford to have that many kits. Two, I'm so behind in using my kits. And three, I just don't need more stuff. And I'm not really doing Project Life as I did before, so I'm not really adding too many embellishments. So I don't think I need that kit as much as I would love to have it. Actually, I haven't done any Project Life in ages. I'm really behind because I've been doing it digitally. If you've watched my previous videos, you've seen how I do it. I do all my layouts digitally in Photoshop, and then I print out the photos and the embellishments and stick it all together to create my paper layouts. And I've still kind of been doing the digital, but I haven't printed out any of my photos. So I don't know if I want to now. I don't know. Because I'm only up to April. I think I've still got 2 layouts for April to do. And I'm not sure if I want to keep going with the paper versions or just leave it as digital. So you may not see any Project Life layouts from me for a little bit while I decide what I'm going to do. Or if you'd like to see my digital process, how I do it in Photoshop, or also sometimes I use the apps on my phone. So if you want to see that, leave a comment below and I'll try and make a video of how I do my Project Life on the computer. And now just a few finishing touches. So as you see, I did put those resin pieces up the top, and then I added a couple of the, whoa, sorry, someone just knocked my microphone off. And then I used a couple of those little hearts on the bottom there. And then I'm using my tape to make a couple of semicircles. So I do one there and I do one in the top left above those little embellishment cluster of bits. And I just go around the outside with some pen. It kind of looks like stitching. I was going to stitch on it, but let's be honest, I was a bit lazy and didn't want to get the sewing machine out or my thread and cotton. I just wanted to get the layout finished. I know that sounds terrible. So I just did some faux stitching with my pen, and I did some small stitches on the outside and then some slightly larger ones on the inside. And you can see my hair. It hadn't been washed for a couple of days, and I just tied it up so I could do this layout. So I apologize for that mess of a hair that you see. And then I did the same at the top. I don't do 2 lines at the top. I just do the one. And I think I call this layout done at this point. I do add a little bit of journaling to that label tag at the side, but I did that off camera. Oh, I did a little bit of outlining around all the pattern papers. And I think that's this layout done, guys. So thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I would love to have you watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.